After being kidnapped, raped, and held as an 18-year hostage, J.C. Lee Dugard was rescued. But rather than condemning her captor, she shockingly referred to him as a great guy.
On the surface, Dugard's behavior seems bizarre, but it's typical of a psychological phenomenon known as Stockholm Syndrome. Victims of Stockholm Syndrome develop compassion and loyalty towards their captors. The condition follows psychologically traumatizing situations like hostage situations and kidnappings. In fact, Stockholm Syndrome got its name in 1973 when two thieves accosted a bank in Stockholm, Sweden, taking 4 bank employees hostage. For 6 days, the prisoners were held in a bank vault, tied to explosives with nooses around their necks. During a rescue attempt, police were shocked when the captives took offense, siding with the captors. Like the Stockholm victims, people who develop this condition endure situations where they're forced to contemplate the reality of severe injury or death. In order for Stockholm Syndrome to develop, a victim must also perceive that her captors have shown occasional kindnesses. Being permitted to eat, not being punished for a so-called transgression, and even being allowed to live are all considered benevolent to someone with Stockholm Syndrome. People with Stockholm experience symptoms similar to post-traumatic stress disorder patients. They may have flashbacks, nightmares, distrust of others, and the inability to enjoy previously pleasurable activities. No one is sure why this phenomenon occurs, but it has been suggested that a victim believes, perhaps unconsciously, that forming an attachment to her captor maximizes her survival. Oddly, Stockholm Syndrome doesn't resolve in tandem with the end of a hostage situation. In the 1973 bank robbing, the freed hostages remained loyal to their captors, even setting up a fund to cover the criminals' legal fees. These symptoms of Stockholm Syndrome are actually something of an anomaly, because according to FBI reports, 73% of abduction victims show no compassion or affection for their captors. And for the other 27%, long-term therapy together with short-term anxiety or sleep medications offer Stockholm Syndrome sufferers an excellent chance to recover and resume a normal, healthy life.
Shalom, Yasharala. I want to give infinite honors to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem and Karkwadash. I want to give double honors to our teachers, the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to my sincere Aki and my favorite fellow laborers in Yahushai, pushing this truth with all fear and trembling in these last days, seconds, and times, man. Standing on your watch with all fervency, all right? We at the end. We got to be perfected, strive for perfection, and offend less. Now, I brought out this excerpt to show the meaning of Stockholm Syndrome, all right? And that's what the majority of you so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and Latin-speaking people of the earth suffer from. And Esau has put a medical, gave you a medical meaning for this sickness, because it's a sickness. And the tribe of Judah, you so-called Negroes, y'all suffer from it the most. All of the nation, all of our tribes have that coon vibration. They look at the white man as if he's God. But you so-called Negroes in the tents of Judah that are throughout all of America, both of the Americas, you suffer from it worse than all of the other tribes, man. All right? This so-called white man shows you in the history books. All right? You go on YouTube and on the internet. All right? All of his atrocities against our people are recorded. All right, this devil was inhumane and still is inhumane to our people until this day. But yet our people still love him. Our people still subscribe to his philosophies. Our people if they have issues or problems in their life, they go to him as the authority to fix them. All right? When I was growing up as a young lad and I came through that juvenile period, you know, when, as they say down south, he's starting to smell himself and you think you're a man. My parents, instead of dealing with me according to the scriptures, they sent me to counseling. I had to go to counseling to these devils. And you could obviously, some of them, I was back then, I could tell that they was homosexual because they was weak. Like the counselors I'd be going to, you could just see that spirit on them. They was weirdos, all right? And these people would prescribe me medicine, man. And the medicine had me feeling like a fucking zombie, man. All right, I'd be getting in trouble at school and shit, you know, just unruly. All right, you know, you just go through that phase where you think you're a fucking man when you're young. And my parents looked to our colonizer, the one who kidnapped our ancestors and brought us over here to the shores of America. They looked at him and not the Most High as the antidote to fix what was going on with me. The scriptures tell you what to do with an unruly son. The scriptures tell you how to raise your children. You don't have to go outside of the scriptures to deal with your children at all, man. All right? Let me get a precept. This is Leviticus 10, verse 10, and it reads, "And that ye may put difference between holy and holy, and between unclean and clean." The scriptures, the Most High raised up the priests to teach us, to teach the congregation the difference between holy and unholy, good and bad, clean and unclean, how to live. And that you may teach the children of Israel all the statutes, what the Mashiach Yahweh Shem Awashai, what Salakia, what Yahweh Shem Awashai by Shem Kadash spoken unto them by the hand of Moses. All right? So through these, the Most High gave us the format how to raise your children that come from your loins through the scriptures. You don't have to go to this devil who you could just see through his spirit by the laws that he has to govern the place, that this is a sadistic, homosexual, pedophiliac, narcissistic maniac. How dare any of the sons of Yasharala look up to him as a source to gain understanding from? And the reason our people do that because they suffer from a severe chronic case of Stockholm syndrome. Our people love their captors. We're in the land of our colonizers. We're in the land of our captors, man. Our ancestors were brought here against their will, man. All right? And this devil to this day is doing the same things he did a few hundred years ago to our people. He's killing us in cold blood. All right, you have more people in the prison penal system than you do that was on the plantations. And that's a stat. You have more niggas locked up than was on the plantations, man. Because up north you didn't have plantations. Up north you got prison houses, you got jail houses, and the bulk of the people that are in them, you go to Pelican Bay out west, they didn't have slavery out there. They got a number of prisons out there. You go up north to Rockers Island, shit like that, Boston, all those prisons. You got thousands of Israelites in those prisons. Up north and out west, you didn't have plantations. Plantations was only down south. So you have more people in chains and fetters and cages than during the time of slavery. And our people love this devil. If you come against this devil, we see it week in and week out. When we're prophesying against this place, according to the scriptures, and you have Uncle Tom, Sambo Coons that come against you when the so-called white man don't even come against you. In fact, the so-called white man comes and admit that those atrocities that were committed against us by their ancestors was unjust, that they was off, and that it happens to this day. You have devils that come up and tell the truth, but yet you have people of our own nation, our own stock, bloodline, lineage that come up against us, taking up for this devil that did all these inhumane, abominable things to us as he do until this day. And that's why I'm about to go through a few precepts to show it's nothing new under the sun. Israel has done that shit, had Stockholm syndrome since we've been a nation. The so-called white man just put a label on it. They've been doing it since we was in Egypt. All right. The 2/3 have been doing it since we was in the other captivities, and it's nothing new under the sun. And we're about to go through a few precepts to edify the elect to show if you suffer from Stockholm syndrome, if you're an Uncle Tomahawk, a shucking jiving, Sambo coon, that these scriptures was going to sober you up and put you in reality so you can know who your enemy is, man. If you don't have sound doctrine, our enemy told us to love thine enemy. But he didn't break that scripture down accurately, all right? The enemy that you're supposed to love is a brother that you don't see eye to eye with in his truth, all right? Somebody, a fellow laboring Yahushua that has become your enemy, and y'all not seeing eye to eye, all right? That's the person that you love in spite what he does to you. A person of another nation of a 2/3, man. The scripture says, what does light have with darkness? And what concord does Yahushua have with Belial? And a believer with an infidel, man. All right? You don't believe, you never trust thine enemy, according to the book of Sirach. All right? Though his words are smooth than butter, war has always been in his heart and always will. He's incapable of admitting that he's the devil. He's incapable of telling the truth. So I'm gonna start off in the beginning. All right, nothing new under the sun. This is Exodus 1. I'm gonna start at verse 13, man. Our people have always had this issue of Stockholm syndrome, man. And the Egyptians made the children of Yasharallah to serve with rigor. All right? And they made their lives bitter with the hand of bondage and murder, mortar, brick, and all manner of service in the field and all their service, where they made them serve with rigor. And that's what the so-called white man is doing to our people to this day. Our people work for pennies, man. In fact, it has a statistic in America that shows that the so-called Negroes are the biggest consumers in America. They generate the most money into this place. And when you look at them statistically, 70% of them live under the poverty line. All right? That's all set up by design, man. All right? That's what happens when you take heed and you subscribe to Edomite supremacy, white supremacy, man. All right? How do you love a person that's lording over you and your people are at the bottom like that? And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shapara and the name of the other Pure. And he said, when you do office a midwife to the Hebrew women and see them upon the stools, and if it be a son, then you shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then you shall live, all right? Now, somebody that does this to you, are you going to love them? Are you going to believe anything they say? When somebody tell you to kill all of your man children and let your daughters live so we can have them as concubine slaves and have our way with them? All right? What person in their righteous mind, with a logical mind that is full of reason, all right, would trust or want to have anything to do with a person that puts out that decree to your whole nation? All right? Only a fool. The Bible call you Uncle Tomahawk, Negro coons, fools, man. All right? But the midwives feared Yahweh and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called the midwives and said unto them, why have you done this thing? And have you saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women. They are lively. And delivered the midwives came in unto them. Therefore, Yahweh dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very greatly, mightily, Salakia. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared Yahweh, that he made them houses And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter shall live. All right? And that goes back to Psalms 83, that they wanted to cut us off from being a nation. That shows you, man, that this devil understands that the man carries the seed. A woman ain't shit. A woman don't carry on your lineage. The reason he said throw all the men child in the sea, is he wanted to cut us off from being a nation. And the way you do that, you get rid of the men. All right? All right? The seed of the man carries on his lineage. All right? So this devil, so-called white man, we're going to liken him, he's the modern day Egyptian. All right? This devil wants to cut us off from being a nation, but yet you have 2/3 of our people that have died for this devil. We're jumping the bullet for this devil. And this devil is trying to annihilate them. All right? And now I'm about to show how people was always fools. The 2/3 are back in their lots. All right. Now, you see this decree that the king of Egypt put up on our people. Now, let's see that our people want to come against the king of Egypt later on when we had trials that came upon us. Dire straits came upon us. All right. This is Isaiah 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children. And that word woe means destruction, death. When the Most High say woe to you, he means death to you. All right, that's basically the Most High signing your death warrant. All right, Psalm 68 and 20 say that through the Most High, he controls the issues of death. All right, so no one is put to death without the Most High giving that decree. And he say, woe to the rebellious children. And the rebellious children are the ones that transgress his word, the ones that suffer from Stockholm syndrome and has taken on the ways and the customs of the heathen. All right, say of Yahweh, that they counsel, but not of me. Our people, like my parents, when I was going astray, they didn't counsel to Yahweh Shema Shai and go through, search the scriptures diligently to see how to handle matters and how you raise your children in the ways of Yahweh Shema Shai. They went to Egypt. They went to the so-called white man and took me to counseling. Had me seeing a shrink. And this devil giving me, this sorcerer giving me all kind of fucking medicine. Paxil CR, Zoloft. What's the other one? The one that started to P. I forgot the name of that motherfucker. Shit have you zombified and puts more demons on you, man. Woe to those people, man. My father's already in the spiritual realm, but my biological mother, man, she's still an Egyptian. She still believes in that. She's going to die a grievous death. And I love my mother carnally, all right? But spiritually, I know she's a dead woman walking. It's just a matter of time, all right? People like that are going to get put to death. Thus saith Yahweh Shema Shai. But not of me, that they cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin and sin. When you live as an American and you subscribe to Western philosophy, you want your kids to go to college, you want to get a 401k, you want to do as the Romans do, all right? You're not rocking in the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. The spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai say we're subject to payments, we are slaves, all right? He's put this devil over us. Get you a job, work, be content with your basic necessities met. If he gives you a lucrative job, all right, be ready to distribute to the body, and don't put your trust in uncertain riches, okay? That's the Israelite way, all right? But when you subscribe to this Western way of living, all right, well, you count godliness as gain, and the more Federal Reserve knows, you think you're blessed, and you think the Most High is dealing with you, and you keep the customs of the heathen round about you, all right? That's how you add sin to sin, all right? Because this devil's infrastructure is at enmity with the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, all right? This devil know that according to our law, you're not supposed to have different fabrics on. If you got on a cotton shirt, everything you have on has to be cotton. Okay? He knows that. He knows even something simple as making a garden. When you plant a garden, you're not supposed to plant an aisle with watermelons and then the other half of the aisle is cucumbers. The scriptures say don't plant a garden with diverse seeds, man. All right, these are laws that should not be broken. All right, and our people break them unconsciously because they live according to the Western philosophy. Every 7 years, you're supposed to let the land rest, man. You're not supposed to just perpetually plant your land. That's why you have landslides and so on and earthquakes and shit. Another thing, when somebody owes you money, the year of Jubilee, all the money they owe you is canceled. All right? So our people add sin to sin because they live according to this devil's philosophy, and he leads them astray. All right? He's leading them into the lake of fire, and he knows it. They walked down into Egypt. Now, we just read Egypt, ancient Egypt did all these horrific things to us. They threw our sons in the rivers to the Nile alligators, crocodiles, man. All right? And they did that here in America, fed our children to alligators. All right? And they had their way with our women. They did all these atrocities to us, but our people still go down into Egypt and have not asked of thy mouth to strengthen themselves. Salaki, they walk down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth. All right, so instead of, when you have situations in your life, you call out to Yahweh Shema Shai, you pray to him, you ask him to be merciful to you. All right, you ask him to deal with you. All right, according to his loving kindness. All right. If you're in lack, you ask him to give you what necessities you need. All right. If you have a child with demons on them, you pray and fast that he take the demons off of them. All right. Instead of doing these things, our people go down to Egypt, go to the so-called white man. All right. And ask him to deliver them. The guy that has sodomized them, raped them, pillaged them, done everything unseemly to them. That's who they go to for help. All right? To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. All right? That's Stockholm Syndrome. Israel's been doing that shit. I just brought out the account in Exodus, how Pharaoh destroyed us, tried to destroy us from being a nation. Yet our people still go to him for help. They still call out to him. Therefore, shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt shall be your confusion. And that's what's going to happen here in America to you that have Stockholm Syndrome. This devil you calling out, when you call out to FEMA when a national disaster come, you call out to the Red Cross when a national disaster come. All right? FEMA's going to put you in fucking FEMA camps and kill you and rape you and do everything unseemly to you in FEMA fucking camps. The Red Cross is going to take your kids and kill your kids and use their body parts, sell their body parts to some trillionaire somewhere over there in England, man. The Red Cross is going to inject you with deadly diseases to wipe you off as a nation. This is the people, when calamities come on our people, that's who our people call on, Egypt. The Most High is going to let them come down on you with great rigor and destroy your asses, man. Therefore, all right, that's it on that. I'm gonna give another analogy, another example, how people always had Stockholm Syndrome. It's nothing new under the sun, man. Things written aforetime was written for our learning, man. Okay? I'm gonna go up to the times of the kings, man. In 2 Kings 17, I'm gonna start at the top. All right. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Jehoiada, began Hoshea, I think that's pronounced Yahushua, the son of Eli, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh Shema Shai, but not as the kings of Yasharallah that were before him. Against him came up Salmanasar, king of Assyria. All right, this goddamn devil. This goddamn heathen. And he's a devil. And Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. All right. So this king of Assyria came and subdued our people, came to the northern kingdom. All right. And subdued our people, took them out of our possession, out of position of power. All right. And enforce his ways and his laws upon us. Are you going to take kindly to an oppressing entity that comes to subdue you, have his way with your women, and put you in a position of servitude? No, indeed. A slave is supposed to hate his slave owner. If you're a slave and you don't hate your slave owner, you are mentally impotent. You are out of your fucking mind. You are going off your rockers. In fact, that's prophecy fulfilled. That's Deuteronomy 28 and 28, and it reads, all right, Yahweh shall smite thee with madness, blindness, and astonishment of heart. All these things that this so-called white man has done to our people, as he done to this day, and our people still love him, Stockholm Syndrome is a fulfillment of that scripture. All right, our people are mad, blind, and have astonishment of heart. That means they're going off their rockers. They're incapable of thinking logically with reason. All right? As the army call it, the military call it, our people are Section 8s, man. They going off their rockers. They love their oppressor. They love the one that puts their foot up their ass. All right? I'm going to go back to 2 Kings. All right. And the Most High is going to kill the people that don't sober up and don't come into reality. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt. Here we go again. And brought no present to the king of Assyria. And he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. This is our enemies coming up and besieging our land, taking us into captivity. In fact, when you read down, they took us out of our land and put Hamites in our land, as it is until this day, man, in Samaria. All right? In the 9th year, Hoshea, the king of Assyria, took Samaria and led away into Assyria. All right, they subdued us, conquered us, took us out of our land, and took us into their land for handmaids, slaves, and eunuchs, so on and so forth, and placed them in Halat, in harbor by the river of Gozan, and the cities of the Medes. So it was the children of Israel had sinned against Yahweh Shemawashah, their power, which had brought them out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and had feared other gods. All right, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, and that's what you do. Uncle Tom, 2/3 of our people walk in the laws and the statutes of this so-called white man. Our people was against homosexuality in the 80s and 70s. Man, homosexuals had to live under a rock. Now that the so-called white man deems it lawful, our people tolerate them or just straight up deal with them. So our people, whatever this so-called white man deems right or wrong, our people flow into it and they deem it right or wrong. All right? Our people, whatever the so-called white man says is good, they deem it good. Whatever he says evil, they deem it evil. All right? And those that think that way are going to get put to death. All right? In these coming days, as a matter of fact, of whom Yahweh cast out before the children of Israel and the kings of Israel, which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things were not right against Yahweh, their power. And they built high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And a high place, a modern day high place, is these churches and these Islam mosque and shit. Those are considered modern day high places. When you go to church, that's a high place. That's another God. That's another Yahweh Shah been taught. All right? Those are foreign deities, the spirits that are in there. All right? That the heathen taught us to go to those places. Those places are not scriptures. Acts the 7th chapter say the Most High dwell not in temples made with the hands of men. All right? Children, the children of Israel are a people. It's not a place. Okay? The church is the people. It's not a place. All right? So I'm bringing out the scripture about the king of Assyria, how he came, took us out of our land, all right, oppressed us. Now let's see what our people did with the king of Assyria. Did they try to fight him? All right, did they try to find a way to get from under his foot? Or did they submit to him, take on his ways, and start loving their captor? All right? It's nothing new under the sun. And these are things that happen in ancient times. So it's nothing new under the sun. So when I see these Sambo coons, when you see these niggas that are come to the so-called white man's defense, all right, these are the same people back in their lots in these last days, seconds, and times. They back in their lots, doing what they did in ancient times, all right? Reincarnation is real, all right? And they got put to death, as they're going to get put to death in this last regeneration, all right? This is Hosea 12. I'm going to start at the top. And it reads, Ephraim feedeth on wind, and follow after the east wind. He daily increaseth lies and desolation. And the reason he increases lies and desolation, he's taken on the ways of his oppressors. And they do make a covenant with the Assyrians. So the Assyrians took us into captivity and subdued us. And you're going to make a covenant with them? You're going to get in league with them? And oil is carried into Egypt. All right? So that's why it showed, that's why I'm doing this clip to show how people always suffer from Stockholm syndrome. The king of Syria, Salmanassar, came, overtook us, and then our people made a covenant with him. All right? That's no different than what people are doing in these modern times. All right? And that goes against the scriptures, man. That goes against the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shema Shah. Because when you read this Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. When Yahweh thy power shall bring thee into the land where thou goest to possess it, and has cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thee, and they are all Hamites. The Hamites are our enemies, the so-called Africans. We are not Africans. All right, just because both of us have dark skin, we are not the same people. Hamites hate us, and you're supposed to hate them. And when Yahweh Shema Shah, that power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them. The Most High tell us to smite our enemies, man. He don't tell us to get in league with them, make covenants with them. The so-called white man, we supposed to be at his neck, man. All right? But in these last days, the Most High has commanded us to be spiritual, all right? To build yourself up spiritual before we go into a carnal war with them. And we won't go into a carnal war with them until our great king rise up to the prey, according to Zephaniah the 3rd chapter. All right? And utterly destroy them. The Most High is going to want us to utterly destroy our enemies. He never created the nation of Israel to be in league and subscribing to the heathen's philosophy. All right? That's madness. And thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. You're not supposed to be merciful to the so-called white man. When you see the so-called white man falling, you're supposed to drink a glass of wine in that and toast to his death, man. Okay? You're supposed to toast to the fall of thine enemy. All right? When Americans celebrate the 4th of July, they are toasting and barbecuing and partying to the fall of their enemies. That's what they're doing. They are celebrating them coming from the servitude and the oppression of their oppressors. That's what the 4th of July is all about. Gaining this so-called, let me say so-called, All right, but that's for them so-called gaining their independence from their oppressor. All right, they didn't subscribe. They said they didn't subscribe to their oppressor's philosophy. They wasn't content with being under their oppressor and making covenants with their oppressor. All right. So that's how you supposed to be. That's the mind you supposed to be in. But the majority of our people are not. The majority of our people are not. And that's why the majority of our people are going to be subdued in this nation when this nation fall and is destroyed. This is Isaiah 5. I'm going to start at verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. The laws that govern this place are evil. The laws that govern this place are not good. And the Most High say, woe to you who subscribe to the way this place is ran. All right? Woe to you. Woe to you that do things the way this devil say do things. All right? Woe to you who not trying to free your mind, learn sound doctrine, sober up. All right? That woe means destruction to you. That put darkness for light and light for darkness. That says it's a woman's right to abort a child. That says it's a human being's right to have sex with an animal or a child. All right? These are the laws that govern this place. That say it's lawful to inhale smoke in your lungs and kill your fucking self. Inhale tar. That's all it should be, is fucking tar. All right? That says lawful to eat whatever you want when the Bible gives you a dietary law that you should follow strictly. All right? Woe to them that call evil good and good evil. All right? That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. But our people are not even wise in their own eyes. All right? Our people do whatever this devil tell them to do. They subscribe whatever this devil tell them to do. All right? They not even wise in their own eyes, man. The only time they get wise in their own eyes is when they coming against men that are telling them the truth. All right? John 8:32, our great King say, you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Your enemy, your oppressor, not going to tell you the truth. He's not going to tell you what you need to gain salvation and everlasting life and what you need to do to go from glory to glory. So-called white man's not going to teach you that. You going off your rocker. The same guy that put you in cargo slave ships and hooked your ancestors up in chains and got these unjust decrees governing the place. He's not going to tell you the truth. John 8 chapter, the 44th verse, say he's the devil and the father. He's the father of lies. And when he do it, he's doing it according to his biology, his anatomy, his DNA. He's incapable of telling the truth. So when you subscribe to what he tell you is true, that's you putting bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter, man. All right? In fact, Isaiah got another fire precept on that topic. This is Isaiah 29 and it's 13 or 16, one of them. All right, I'm going to read 13 too. Fuck it. All right. Wherefore Yahweh Shema Shah said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, all right, and our people do have a zeal for the Most High. That's why they go posse up in those whorehouses called churches. That's the reason our people do it. By the troop. They go in there by the thousands. Because they have a zeal for the Most High. It's in our people DNA to love the Most High. All right, they're just not doing it according to knowledge. They're doing it according to the devil. All right, but he removed, but have their heart far from me, and that heart represents your mind. Your heart can't think. Your heart also that pumps blood. That word in the Hebrew is la'ab. It's talking about your mind. Okay, your mind thinks. That's where you get your cognitive function from. All right, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. What men is teaching our people to economics, educational, penal, all right, so-called science and so forth, creation, how creation was created. So-called white men. That's why people don't fear the Heavenly Father and His Son. because of the so-called white man. The precepts of men, the men that's teaching our people, Job 9:24 say the earth is getting into the hand of the wicked. It's the wicked of the earth. That's who make the textbooks. All right? The so-called white man. That's who your children spend more time with than you. When you tally up the time that your children are spending in school, they're with the enemy more time than they're with you. You have to go to work 8 to 10 hours out the day. All right? And they have your children 8 to 10 hours out the day. They have every day for 5 days. All right? They have your children more than you do. Okay? So this is who teach our people right from wrong. Skip down to verse 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. The so-called white man has turned things upside down, man, through philosophy. All right? Propaganda and dogma. All right? Through media outlets, textbooks, libraries. All right? That's how he pushes philosophies out there. All right? For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? And that's what the so-called white man does against his creator, Yahweh Shem Shai, the power that the world ignorantly calls God, and our great king who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He's shaking his fist at his creator, telling them how things should be. This is the way it should be. All right? And our people, 2/3 of our people subscribe to it. All right? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he have no understanding? All right? And it's been proved who has understanding or not. The so-called white man has legalized gay marriage. The so-called white man, you don't have understanding if you think the human anal cavity is a sexual organ. If you can't tell something simple that it's an exit and not an entrance. All right? All right? The way he passes laws, if you think it's lawful for a man to have sex with a sheep or a goat or any kind of animal and defile that animal like that poor fucking animal, but you pass a law and say it's lawful, then we know a logical thinking person should know who has understanding, who don't. Our Bible condemns these things. The so-called white man says it's cool, it's lawful. And our people subscribe to whatever the so-called white man say. The so-called white man say it's lawful to kill an unborn fetus. Fuck a fetus, even when it's like a tadpole. He said you could kill him in the last trimester when the baby, the whole baby is fully grown. When it's ready to come out the belly. When it's crying when it come out the belly. He say it's lawful for a woman to kill that baby. All right? This is the devil. This is the man our people have Stockholm syndrome towards. This guy. All right? And in the last days, man, when our Heavenly Father turn up the heat, he's going to kill everybody that subscribes to this devil's philosophy, including this devil. When he bring this devil down, he's going to bring you down. The scripture say, though hand join the hand, the wicked won't go unpunished. All right? So when he take him down, he's going to take whoever down that's a part of his matrix. All right? So with that, Lord willing to sit down was edifying to the hearers. I want to give infinite honors to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem and Karkodash. I want to give double honors to our teachers, the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to your sincere icon pushing this true cross of four winds, Kwame Yasharala, Abba Baba.